All right, everybody, welcome on back and good afternoon to all. Continuing along, of course, our wonderful Wednesday afternoon here in the Cyber Group Trading Room, April 22nd, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, guys. Welcome on back. Let's get a quick chat back just to begin. Make sure everyone here can hear me loud and clear. We have the Dow slightly breaking higher as we speak. About time. I mean, it's just been a kind of a sluggish day. Not necessarily here in the trading room. Great to see everybody, though, at least. Bonnie, Jerry, David, Michael, Chuck, Phil. You guys are coming in all too quick for me, and I love to see that, of course, as well. All of our students in our trading room, of course, as well, guys, keep in mind, for streaming across social media, YouTube and Facebook alike, let's hop right into it. I always like to show the Dow nowadays to begin. A bit of a gap up overnight, and of course, since the open, it really hasn't done much until right now. It looks like the Dow is finally breaking over 23.5 again. And perhaps we could see a new run heading into the end of the day. Otherwise, if it's a false break and this ends up dropping off pretty sharply, then, of course, just keep that in mind as well. But nevertheless, it's been a slow day market-wise. We've done very well, though, on a few trades. So let's quickly recap those that ended up moving nicely. And, of course, we'll look to build up our afternoon watch list here. So to begin, Snapchat, and my pre-market charts are always off here. I think it's coming off from the Dow. I think I realized that. Moving from the Dow Industrial to another symbol, I think it tampers with my pre-market. Nonetheless, though, Snapchat, I mean, I honestly can't believe the run that this has had across the entire day, guys. Snapchat reported great earnings, ended up actually missing the EPS, but the sales beat, and then they had good news across their platform as far as their live audience, their live shows, so to say, just a lot more viewership. So, a good reaction from the market. Ended up popping in the after hours last night, up 20+%. All right, why do I emphasize that? Because, that's a lot for an earnings report, guys. Typically, we'll tend to see like a 10 to 15% jump. So, we saw an insta 20% move overnight, where this ended up, of course, moving from 12.50 up to 15 plus. And going into the open, it's not impossible to see this move higher. But I was more inclined to anticipate a short after a breakout. I was messaging that to Ben. That was my prediction this morning. I was thinking a pop, then a drop. I got it, but damn, this thing ended up breaking much higher heading into the late morning, right? So this certainly exceeded my expectations on the long, ended up breaking above major resistance in pre-market, at least at 15 bucks. And from there, ended up holding it as support off the shake, but from there again, took off, broke above 1565, the first peak there, the first high, and ultimately squeezed up all throughout the day. So where does that lead us heading into the close, guys, for a stock like Snap? Well, it's made its pullbacks. It's not as if this has been a perfect trend all throughout the day. So you've been hearing me say in our weekly workshop traders talk and here in this afternoon meeting, for a stock like Snap, when is it going to pull back? When is it going to drop off? Well, it's making a new high right now, but it's had its shakes, like I said. Pulled back from 1565 at first, pulled back, a little bit later on from 1625. It was about a 50-cent drop off. And from here now, it's, of course, pushing up to the next major level, 1650. Let's watch this. I want to begin building our list at least coming up. But, man, this thing's pretty strong on the way up to the next 50-cent level. 72,000 share order I thought I saw at 1649. Look at the level 3 here, guys. Trade station matrix, that is, on the right-hand side. Ken says it'll go higher. Ken, that's a hot take. How about that? You were talking about that earlier in the morning. I was typing that to you guys. No, it definitely seems like it's going to break above 50. Now, the question is, will it sustain above 50? Will it sustain above support at 1650 and move up to 17 perhaps? Well, either way, pop or drop, moving with the market or not, we're going to put this stock easily back on our watch list, number 1, going into the close. One might say this is a little heavily traded, a little over traded, trading 121 million shares total. And the stock typically trades about 30 million or so on average a day. So, definitely it has exceeded my expectations. But for right now, we're going to follow this, steady trend up. And again, otherwise, if this begins to pull back and hold lower highs, then from that point, guys, hey, maybe we'll see that retracement. Don't bank on it at this point, because I was certainly wrong later on throughout the morning. So, it just goes to show that we have to follow the trend, follow the volume, not necessarily what our instincts or, assumptions lead us to believe. All right. Now, Ken's pointing out something here in the chat board here. Ken T, that's the I&O trade. Testing high of the day. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Right back to the major resistance, high of the day, of course, 1180, a 75,000 share order as well, Ken. Man, talk about good timing here, guys. Jeez, this is like a phase 2 class live. So INO easily, I'll just put this on our watch list. But again, we've been following this for the last week and a half, guys. You can see every day on the daily chart where you've had a positive close, a green day. We've been trading it, and before that too. But we were waiting for a big breakout on this trade based off the smart money that was getting filled all the way at $8. Things at 1180 now. So, this ended up making a wacky pop and pullback, and then, it ended up making its better move later on, ended up making a huge breakout above resistance off 11, had a big shake after. And, although it ended up shaking again, this thing is right back up to the high of the day. So, this one certainly seems just as strong, if not better than Snapchat. All right. Bali saying, I am still holding INO from 1096. Congrats, Bali. Fantastic profit thus far. Higher lows leading up to major resistance. I'd like to think we'd get a higher high. So you're certainly in a good position here, Bali. Very nice start to this trade. All right, so again, Snapchat, Snapchat, and INO. We're gonna right away put on our watch list going into the end of the day here. So those were two big winners for us. Let's talk about a stock that we were really focused on early in pre-market. That it was more of a loser. Not to say we lost money on this trade as much, but the SAEX didn't exactly go according to plan, right? Ended up, making a breakout above resistance, popped above 330, and from there, that was the first line of defense. Well, from there, look where the high of the day was, 350. Smacked its head right off the 50-cent level, and from that point pulled back. So, we weren't able to short this stock. I don't believe any of us were. If so, then you ended up being the big winner on this trade. But, I don't think that was our intention there. So we were looking more for a pop, a breakout, didn't get it. Hey, you look at it right now, it's built a beautiful rounded bottom. Looks like it ended up holding support pretty nicely off of 215, 220, and squeezing back up to a big resistance here, guys, 235. I was watching this with one of our students in coaching earlier. We were looking for a potential breakout on this trade, and it was directly off of, I think it was right here, 235, right? Yeah, it was the first real dip on the morning. Ended up breaking a bit lower, and from that point we were focused on this. That's right, I ended up actually taking what was that, 7 or 8 cent loss on this trade, unfortunately, looking for a breakout over 250. Didn't get it, pulled back, and it ended up breaking much lower. It was a good loss at the time, so to say. Always have to just have your risk in mind and think about where the stock might break to if it ends up breaking down below support. So took a loss there, but it's right back up to a big level, 235. You know what? I'm going to put this, on the side for right now. I'll come back to this. I normally wouldn't throw a stock like SAEX on our list here at this point, but beautiful bottom pushing up to a big level here. We'll see. All right. So that was one, unfortunately, that didn't work out. Well, just yet. Maybe it will for later on here. Snapchat, again, is right at 1650. INO is, of course, right at that high here, too. So, honestly, guys, for anything else that ended up moving earlier in the morning, we'll look to recap it. We'll look to go over it just coming up. We'll go down from top to bottom, the gainers and losers list. Getting a couple of shouts on AMD right now in the chat board from Michael, and then someone else posted in our tech support tab. We'll take a look at that here at the end. WLL, petroleum stock. We've been following this. I mean, well, I have just on and off for years. Reverse splits ensued, and from that point, this stock just got crushed over time. But a big squeeze back up today. The WLL trade broke above 50 cents. Pretty much as soon as the market opened up, broke above the next resistance. We were calling this out off of 57 or 58. And this ended up making, as good of a run, as good of a breakout as you could imagine. So, did very well earlier. It is squeaking back up towards the highs, it seems like. For right now, I'm not going to put this on the main list yet, but don't be surprised if, if this ends up making a push up to 75, from there, don't be surprised if it gets called out. But we'll see if there are better options here in the meantime. All right, what goes up comes back down. This PEC trade, PECK. We were calling this out as soon as it ended up breaking out in pre-market. I honestly thought it was going to be the end of the run, at least well before the market opened up. It died off pretty quick, but as soon as the market opened up, again, huge pop. It got halted a few times on the way up and, well, really once on the way down. Once it got halted on the way down, that was pretty much it. It made a small bounce up to 7, but look at where it is now. So Peck was a big move yesterday, continued up today in the pre-market, but for right now, kind of seems like it's going to break lower heading into the close. All right, DKL not doing much here. We'll kind of just skim through. There we go. Much better. SBOW. It's not hard to borrow from TradeStation. It's up 33%. I don't know what the news is. I don't really care as much about that. It's nice to know the news. It's just got a wacky spread, kind of an illiquid order book here. It's trading 4 million shares across the day. It's a hell of a lot more compared to its average. For such a big move up, it leads me to think it's going to make a similar move to Peck and like dump off into the close. So it seems pretty active here, this SBOW. For right now, I'll pass. Snap, we're going to skip over. Spoke about it already. Definitely going to focus on that. Another cheapy Bohr, BORR. Saw this called out earlier, popped. Nice call out. I saw a couple of us jump in and out for a couple pennies, but right now, again, another one we'll kind of skip over for the meantime. And DSS, another one. So Jerry called this out too. This made a much sharper pop here for the afternoon. So of the cheapies, I'd say the DSS is the one I'm most interested in. Just the more recent run. A lot of volume still kind of being traded on this. But again, for right now, we'll kind of just skip over it. Maybe come back to this one at the end. All right, what else? We'll go for some stocks within our price range here. IMUX, big spread. INO, skip over that one already. It's on our list. It's at 1184 at least. You could see it made the breakout over 1180. Let's go back to it. At least check and see where it's at. Yeah, 85. It topped off at 90. So, 1180 was a big resistance, guys. Needs to make a move up to 12 here coming up pretty shortly. Quadruple U. Try saying this 3 times fast. U. Non-ETF. It seems like one, like QQQ. Nice little pop, though. Slow-moving level 1 trade. Broke out from 175. Really clean top at the time. Moved up 15 cents higher. Looks like there's some resistance on the ask, almost like every 2 or 3 cents. Huh. The question I have is how much higher is this going to run to? Slow-moving stock, already up 18%. Made a nice pop before. You know what? I'll put it on our list. We don't really have much on our list so far, so we'll put this on our list. Maybe we'll end up near the bottom, but it's level 1. It's slow. So at least for now, a nice steady trend. All right, BE has been more of a familiar name to myself, at least. Saw this break all-time lows going back into the end of the year. Squeezed back up, dumped back down. It's kind of all over the place on the daily chart. Not so much all over the place today. Another energy stock making a nice run, making a new high recently here. So, yeah, BE, I guess I'll add to our list alongside U. All right, here's the familiar name, guys. GNPX. Whoa, nice run on the GNPX. How many of us here in the trading room remember GNPX from the beginning of this year? Ken, you do? Got to be more than just Ken, right? Chuck, Michael, Cliff. Now, why do I bring this up? Because we haven't traded this one in a bit. I bring that up because this stock, guys, if you recall, I'm going to get my dates right here. Try to at least. January 21st. On the dot, January 21st. This was the first stock, I think, that came out with news pertaining to coronavirus. This was stock number 1. CODX, I think, was the second one. And then came all the others, like APT, INO. Of course, that's on our list already. But look at old GMPX making a nice move up here. High of the day, 259. Look to see if it can break above the 25,000 share, at least at 250. So, yeah, familiar face at least. Or familiar name. Another familiar name, Smile Direct Club, SDC. I don't know if I skipped over this or not, but big run earlier. Smile Direct Club, we called out, from this morning. We've been following this off the IPO last year. But hey, ended up making a nice recovery today, squeezed back up from 5 to basically, 587, I was going to say 6. Pulling back down a bit here. It seems like the run is over for the meantime. It is at support. but the volume has been fading off quite a bit. So nice run from before. Good stock to keep on the side list, guys. SDC. VSTM, nice new high here heading into the close. Looks like it broke out from essentially like a pennant, a Fausto flag from 4 that you could see on the daily chart. Nevertheless, big run up today at the high of the day right now. So VSTM, certainly. Put this above GNPX and the rest of them. All right. Yeah, a couple of us are typing in the tech support field, guys. You know that, right? A lot of you guys in the chat room, that is. Alrighty. One more familiar name. How about this? Wow, it's like a nice reunion of runners here. Trill, TRIL, pushing up to 5. Trading 2 million shares total today. Trades about 3 million on average, so it's not really making too sharp of a move based off of volume. Nice steady trend. It's up a lot. I mean, it has made a big move in the past. We've done well on Trill. All right. Talk myself into it. So let's see if there's anything just as good, if not better, at least from the loser side. Then we'll wrap it up. Oh, yeah. Well, how can we not start by LB, Ken, right? I saw Ken mention LB. Yeah, L Brands ended up dumping off earlier going into the late morning. News came out. I saw it from the chat board. We'll look to repost it here coming up in a bit, but just to conserve for time measures, we ended up seeing this breakdown, got halted a couple times. Ended up pulling all the way back down towards the eventual low of the day, 880. But more so, guys, we've been following the major support off of $9. $9 has been a major level, whole number. At one point, I think I ended up seeing like a 165,000 share order. So goes to show where the big buyer is there. So, held support pretty nicely, squeaking back up, a little slow now, but we'll certainly follow LB into the close. 895 also, guys, 895, big level too, just underneath 9. That's based off of one of the halts. And we'll be talking about that tomorrow, actually, in class for all of us here in the trading room. We'll be talking about that in the Phase 2 stock course coming up tomorrow, all throughout the day. In fact, morning, afternoon, talking all about time and sales again, guys. How's that for a plug? All right. ANTM, cheapy, got crushed overnight, 22% down. I mean, it's making a nice move back up to fill the gap. For right now, pass. I'll tell you, AEO, and wow, this ended up breaking much lower just now. This one slipped past me a bit, and we called this out earlier as this was making a move down towards 7. It was making a run from 725, ended up, pretty much holding that as resistance. Lower highs, pulled back to break below 7. So, this AEO trade, it wasn't on our morning watch list, but we called this one out going into the morning. Ended up, continuing down pretty nicely for us, a lot better than I thought it would. Of course, right now breaking a new low. A lot of volume just getting filled off of 688. You could see just really all of those prints, all of those transactions on time and sales. So since that time, it's kind of been pulling back a bit here. So look out for like 688, 690 as a potential resistance here, and perhaps this will end up squeaking a bit towards the lows here again. What is that at? 668. Okay, so AEO we'll put on our list as well, and we'll put this near the top, near the middle to top. I think my first 4 here are Snap, INO, LB, and the AEO trade, and then GMPX like right behind. A bunch of stuff hard to borrow otherwise. Tops shipping stock here. Big old T's ended up, of course, on our losers list again this morning. All right. Let me know, guys, up, down, left, right, if there's anything else that you would want me to look at here going into the very end of this day. Ken says WLL looks good. Then from David, we have Pinterest, PINS. Yeah, look at this thing run, Ken. All right. So you know what? Right away. Good call. We're going to keep this off our list, but a move like this, a pop, ends up making me reconsider, of course. So a lot more activity, of course, here, and hopefully we'll see this continue. So WLL, definitely now on our list. I'd be remiss to not mention NAT while we're at it really quickly. We'll go to David's Pinterest next, Kathleen, Cliff. NAT I was calling out earlier, just more of an early afternoon call out off of 5. It bounced up nicely, but it stalled out. So I'm going to scratch this. We'll go from bottom to top there, David. So we'll go last on Pinterest. But IMGN, new high, pulled back, just too slow right now. Cliff, we got too much moving otherwise. From Kathleen, NLS, which Kevin posted. Comment right there below. Okay. Yeah, NLS. Did I skip over this? Or is this just not up enough? Yeah, maybe this wasn't up enough, or maybe I just skipped over it. Oh, and I guess I skipped over Pinterest too there, David. So right away, I'll say good call on that. Yeah, hard to not put NLS on our list here at this point. This one's moving up a little bit, faster, a bigger pop just going into the afternoon. Less volume on the order book for it to fill compared to the IMGN there. So, at least right now it's kind of stalled out, but, look to see if this could make a new breakout soon. All right. All right. Finally from David, Pinterest. Yeah, ended up making a big pop, of course, from the market open. Did they have earnings? Did Pinterest have earnings and I didn't have it on my calendar? I see this afternoon or after hours run. I would have been really upset with myself if I missed this. Obviously, I missed the trade, so I missed the initial run up. Nope. Okay, so at least at least I wasn't like caught off guard, and I wasn't like letting it slip past me. It wasn't earning, so to say, but ended up making a big move here. I ended up missing this run up, David, and yeah, for right now, it's still near the highs, and a lot of volume just got filled recently too before we started this meeting. So you know what? I'll put it on our list. Pinterest, familiar name as well. So as well, definitely a stock that we're pretty comfortable following. Typically has a tight spread. Typically has a lot of volume on the order book to cut through. So hopefully this ends up making a more concise move here heading into the afternoon. Pulled back and pushing back up, but stalled out since. So in true Josh fashion here, guys, we have a big list heading into this afternoon. In total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 12 stocks. Typically, that's my max. So, as I like to say, we're maxed out heading into our afternoon, guys. All right. So, for all of us here in the trading room, I'll look to post this and tweet this out for anyone on Twitter, and for all of us here on Facebook, YouTube, streaming across social media alike. Keep in mind, if you'd like to learn more about Cyber Trading University, feel more than free to give a call to the phone number there on the banner below, and one of our education advisors will pick up and give you more information about our trading room alongside our online course room. All right, guys, aside from that, for all of us here in the trading room, we'll look to continue the call outs, continue the trading, and hopefully continue the profits heading into the end of this Wednesday afternoon, guys. Take care.